On June 24th, 2021, the Champlain Towers South building partially collapsed, leading to the deaths of 98 people. In response, Florida passed Senate Bill 4D in May 2022 to improve building safety. The law requires inspections and reserve funds for repairs.
Senate Bill 4D really came about as a result of the need for condo communities to set aside funds to maintain their communities.
Once the SB 4D inspections started, inspectors began seeing many plumbing problems caused by recently and improperly installed cured-in-place pipe.
We had a company then come in and video all of our sanitary stacks.
And while he was here, he threw the camera down a few of the other cleanouts, and I've got some pictures on my phone. I was like, whoa, we got a real problem. Serious problem.
I found through the camera and videos that the lining that was installed was interrupted, commonly known as gap installation.
The gap installation method is not in conformance with ASTM specifications, International Plumbing Code specifications, and Florida Building Code specifications.
The methods we choose not to do are gapping, start and stop, and also epoxy brush coating. The reason we choose not to do those is all three of those installation methods don't follow the ASTMs.
Correctly installed continuous CIPP does meet Florida Building Code, is ASTM compliant, and has a valid warranty, whereas other methods like gapping, start and stop, and spin casting do not meet the code, are not ASTM compliant, and don't have a valid warranty.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that the material that is literally flaking off of the walls of the inside of the pipe because it wasn't installed properly.
In many cases, these property owners are left with a huge financial burden. A proper CIPP installation follows 3 key steps based on industry and plumbing code standards. 1. Continuous lining. A single, pre-measured, epoxy-impregnated liner is installed from the roof to the ground floor or lower. The red pressure tank installs the lining material using the inversion method. This ensures a continuous liner installation from the roof to below the first floor foundation. The inversion installation method presses the epoxy-impregnated side of the lining material against the wall of the pipe, allowing the liner to adhere to the pipe. 2. Dimple formation. As the epoxy hardens, the liner is inflated against the pipe walls, creating small dimples at branch connections. These dimples mark where openings need to be made. 3. Precision cutting. A remote-controlled cutting tool is used to reopen the branch connections by cutting through the dimpled material. Also, see how water flows smoothly. There are no gaps or ledges to block water and debris. This is how proper CIPP installation should look. With the incorrect gapped CIPP material installation method, notice the 2 installers drop a pre-assembled delivery apparatus containing multiple segments of uncured CIPP material separated by voids. These voids leave gaps at branch fitting openings. These installers do not own an expensive robotic branch reinstatement tool to reinstate or open the branch fittings, thus leaving the owners with an incorrect gapped installation. A method that is not approved by the ASTM standards regulating CIPP material installation, it is also not approved by the Florida Building Code and is not covered by any warranty from the material manufacturer. The CIPP material between the gaps does not have any epoxy adhering to the walls of the pipe. Instead, the liner's impervious slick side is pressed up against the walls of the pipe. The leading edge of the gapped liners creates a lip or ledge to catch debris and leaves the liner in danger of separating from the pipe to allow water in between the liner and the pipe. In many cases, this allows the liner to slip or fold over in the pipe, causing stoppages, sewage leaks, and mold behind walls and above ceilings. If your vertical stack drainage pipes were lined with cured-in-place pipe over the last 15 years, there's a high chance that an improper start and stop, gapping, epoxy spin casting, or epoxy brush coating method was used. This can lead to major repairs in the near future.
With gapping, a system can have 40% of the system could be fittings. If you're doing the gapping method, you're leaving a large portion of that system unlined. And those unlined sections can lead to failures in the future that the client isn't aware of.
Eventually, there's a buildup. Sometimes the material, as we found out, manages to insinuate itself behind the lining that was put in place. That can cause the lining itself to start to peel away from the cast iron pipe.
In the case of gapping, the material is not defective. The material has proven itself to last the 50 years that the warranty is. It's the installation method. It's almost like a doctor trying to cure you of some illness, and he's actually putting cancer into your body, because that's what it relates to. Highland Towers is just one of thousands of properties and property owners in the state of Florida that have been affected by this, and it's becoming rapidly clear that this is an issue within Florida. But after Florida, this method has been used across the United States. So this is going to grow. Fortunately, Florida has SB 4D and the SIRS inspections that are pointing this out as to what's facing the consumers.
The original cost to do the lighting was around $100,000, something like that, $100,000. To redo all of this is a very involved process, because now we've got to remove this very dense, hard material from inside the pipe, and then make sure that the pipe is cleaned, and then reline the pipe. And the costs are coming in between $400,000 to $600,000. I mean, we really did. We got screwed. The shareholders of this building got screwed.
The ASTM standards are very clear that the continuous method is the approved method. And the manufacturer and the contractor both tell us in their documentation that this will be installed in accordance with ASTM standard. We can't just put a new lining inside of what's already there. That would be wonderful. But if we did that, we would reduce a 3-inch diameter pipe to 2 and change, and that's not acceptable to the town or the state.
And unfortunately for us, we got a contractor that sold them the biggest bill of goods. And it's like anything else. You got a good salesman, they'll make the sale.
If you don't pull a permit, you don't get the city officials to inspect and look at the work that's going on. So there's a lot of distortion, I would call it, going on when you get these kind of jobs.
In January 2025, Highland Towers individually contacted the contractor and the material manufacturer to initiate warranty claims, as provided in their contract documents. The contractor responded with assurances that they would address the warranty claims, but gave no details. On February 11th, 2025, the attorney for the manufacturer responded that the gap method violates code, is not consistent with industry standards, violates manufacturer's standard operating procedures provided to installers, and consequently negates any warranty. The manufacturer's outdated 2013 installer's manual was referenced that states start and stop, gapping, and spin casting methods could potentially void any warranty the manufacturer supplies to our certified installers. The attorney's letter failed to mention the current 2015 installer's manual that recommends the gapping procedure.
Why would a contractor and a material manufacturer risk a failure, exposure to possible legal action? That one instance is not what we're talking about. We're talking about huge amounts of material being sold, huge amounts of contractors taking consumers and selling the material and putting the money in their pocket and walking down the street. Now we see that the material manufacturer who has benefited from this over the years is now being exposed to warranty failure. And the question comes up, Did they just do it to turn over the material profits? Very possibly.
I always recommend go with the continuous lining. It's code compliant, it's a better job, and you get the longevity.
Being responsible to the shareholders for spending their money prudently, and now being in a position where, we have to go tell them, whoops, this wasn't done the way it should have been done. Though we saved a bunch of money then, we're going to spend more money now to undo it. I would just say, look, it pays to do it right the first time. We're the poster child for what happens when you don't.
For many property owners, this situation is a financial burden. In some cases, property damage and environmental issues have occurred. They have paid for the faulty gapped installation, which is now useless, and it will now cost 3 to 4 times as much to remove and replace the material properly with a legitimate warranty. Unfortunately, more victims of this faulty gapped CIPP lining process are being identified as more SB4D SIRS investigations are completed. If your building had pipe lining installed within the last 15 years, you may qualify for warranty claim support. Contact CTS today. Or if you're planning a future pipelining project and want expert guidance to ensure full code compliance, schedule a consultation with CTS.